So as Andy said, I am a PhD student at Université Sorbonne Paris Nord. I am in information and communication sciences, and my research work focuses on digital school textbooks and on the school publishing industry as well. So I am interested both in the instrumental aspects of the digital textbook. So I am asking questions, like very broad questions, such as what are we talking about when we use the words digital textbooks? What are they? What are they used? When are they used and how? Sorry. And I am also interested in some industrial aspects that of the digitalization phenomenon and its impact on publishers' practices, and how digital textbooks are produced, designed. I am also versing in computer sciences. I am interested in XML and HTML coding and metadata, indexation of content. So all sorts of things. And in order to study these aspects, I also have to, take an interest in teachers' and students' practices and their use of curricular content. And so today I will share a short part of my work that is focused on teachers' manipulation of informational content. So as we know now, there's an essential part of the teaching profession that I am citing here involves a wide range of documents and presuppose operations of search, selection, exploitation, and storage of the information collected, which culminates in the production of professional documents. And so these activities that are related to both session preparation and classroom time, I think they can be linked to what Godet and Trouche described in 2008 as teachers' document practices. And I am suggesting a reflection on teachers' informational or document practices by questioning the permanences and evolutions in these practices depending on the media. So regarding my methodology, real quick, I led 25 interviews with French middle school and high school teachers. I also looked at I analyzed a corpus of 15 course reports that were produced by French middle school and high school teachers. And I led a few hours of in-class observation in middle and high school. So in one of my research hypotheses suggested that the search and selection of operations were not carried out in the same way, depending on the environment teachers were searching on, whether it be digital or printed. And this hypothesis seems to be invalidated in some way by the responses obtained by from my respondents. So to me here, the interesting part is that even though these activities are carried out in different environments with different affordances, there are some continuity in individuals' practices on both media. So from here, I will use Philippe's example, which is a good representation of what I am trying to demonstrate. And so regarding a course report that he made himself, Philippe described to me the way he found the content units that compose the document. So he explains that he used various sources to elaborate it, both printed and online. And he says that on paper, he used the textbook as he used the textbooks and explains that he read it in a linear way. So that's it. He says, I examined the progression suggested in the textbooks for this chapter, the activities, the exercises, the documents selected. And he says that when something interested him, he either kept it as it was to integrate it in his own course report, or he modified it a little and then put it in his report. Then he proceeded to explain to me that he needed to find another content to illustrate his intention and to integrate it to his support. So he told me that that the illustrations were actually things that he looked up online with Google Image. And for instance, he wanted to show how dry the Colorado River was to his pupils. So he typed in dried out Colorado River and he found the photograph. So as we see here, on the one hand, Philip relies on the structure on the linearity of the textbook, but he eventually extracts only pieces of information to use it as in his own support. And on the other hand, he uses the web to find a specific piece of content of information. And these considerations led me to question more specifically the differences in the continuities and practices depending on the media. And well, I am currently working on a typology documenting this phenomenon. So what stands out from my field work right now is that most of the time, search and selection processes culminate in the extraction of pieces of content, either from the linearity of the printed materials or the granularity or hypertextuality of the web. And so since I am also interested in the industrial aspects of these questions, I will conclude my intervention by linking these observations to the publishing industry and their digital offer. So the question I would like to raise here is, to what extent should teachers' search and selection practices be reflected in published digital products, and in what way? And from the considerations I introduced today, I am suggesting 2 lines for further reflection in my work, in my own work, I mean. So first, as a matter of fact, the web doesn't rely on the page as its reference point, whereas paper does. And turning pages actually involves individuals in a continuous linear type of browsing information. And on the other hand, the web is characterized by a hypertextual way of apprehending information. And although linear browsing is difficult to reproduce in a digital environment, as I said earlier, linearity still seems to be very important, and Nicole said it as well. It seems to be important and relevant in teachers' practices. So this raises the question of the media transfer or the remediation, as Bolter and Gruzin put it. So should a digital textbook mimic a paper book's progression? And when is it really useful for teachers? When does it complexify their practices due to the web's interfaces and the way of browsing information? And my second and last point revolves around teachers' way of finding specific content when they are searching online. So as I showed earlier, they usually do not rely on a linear search, but they either operate a very targeted search, meaning that they likely already know what type of content they are searching for. Is it an image? Is it a video? Is it a text? And they likely also already know what kind of informational content they want to show or use. So considering this type of search, teachers' practices should be facilitated by, I think, by a relevant indexation of content using metadata, among other technical specificities. And this implies changes, of course, in publishers' professional practices. And I am done. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Aliénor.
Thank you very much.